Thank you, everyone, for coming, and everyone that's out on the internet today. Today, I'm going to read off a press release that was sent out about an hour ago in regards to a fatal hit and run that occurred in 2014. And then we'll have a couple of guests here speak. I'll introduce them right after I read the press release here. This is a fatal hit and run. This month marks the 8th anniversary of the death of 21-year-old Cody Joss, who was struck and killed by a motor vehicle on December 19th, 2014. On that date at approximately 6:45 p.m., Cody was walking northbound on McGregor Street when a westbound vehicle on Inkster Boulevard struck him. The involved vehicle fled the area before police arrived. Cody was subsequently transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries from which he later succumbed. The Central Traffic Division has exhausted all investigative avenues, and the incident remains unsolved. Investigators continue to request public assistance for anyone who may have been present at the time of the collision or may have dash cam video footage of the incident to come forward. Any information provided could assist the investigation and ultimately bring closure to the family. We have brought today as a guest Mr. Kevin Joss, who is the father of Cody Joss, to speak on the effects that it's had on his family. And we also have Constable Aaron Staples of the Collision Investigation Section of the Central Traffic Division to speak about the investigation or to answer questions that you may have about the investigation and to talk in general terms about traffic safety, especially coming towards our New Year's that was coming here. So please, Mr. Joss, if you would like to come up and speak.
I'm Kevin Joss, Cody Joss's dad. I'm here speaking on behalf of his mother, Sherry Duca, and his stepdad, Dwayne Duca, his siblings, and all his family and loved ones and friends. I'm here to plead to the person or persons that may have info on what happened to my son that fatal night. I've done a lot of releases before, and I've asked for people to come forward, but I'm really hoping that somebody has it in their heart to come forward. Maybe your status, your social status changed, whereas you weren't able to talk about what had transpired, and now you can. It's not too late. Any little bit of information that you have can really help us out. We need to know what went on, and we need to start healing. This year, the amount of vehicle and pedestrian accidents or hit and runs has just gone through the roof. Every time someone else loses their life or is critically injured or leaves the scene, it sends such a ripple effect through to this family and to others that are going through the same things that we have, unanswered. So many questions, it's hard to put it into words. I've spoken in past about how everybody has to make the right choices when they leave and start their day, whether you're a pedestrian and being distracted walking across streets, whether you're a distracted driver or you're just a little too fatigued. Everything that you do has a ripple effect on everybody else. The thoughts of the next person that's going to lose their life to an accident that could have been prevented by making the right choice, it's enough to make us tear up. So I'm asking, as you sit around with your loved ones, if you are the bearer of any clues or any knowledge of this accident, I I want you to take a look at your loved ones and realize that, it can happen to you. Everybody says nothing, it wouldn't happen to me. I stand before you and tell you it happened to us. So if you are holding that info, whether you thought, that it was minor, it can all lead to a resolution for this case, some knowledge for our family, and for us to begin to heal. Please, folks, I beg of you.
All right, good morning. My name is Constable Aaron Staples. I'm an investigator with our collision investigation section, and I'm here today to talk to you as the lead investigator on the Cody Joss matter. I first want to acknowledge Kevin Joss, and I want to thank him for coming down today to speak with you all. He has had an incredibly difficult 8 years, him and his family, and we're hoping that this message can get out to bring some closure to the family, as we'd really like to do anything more we can to help them. The first thing about this investigation that I have to tell you is that it is still open. As such, the details are limited, but what I can say is that if there is any information of anybody who may have been in the area or been present at the time that could have a link for our investigators that would help us piece this together, it could make all the difference in the world for the family. The other thing that Kevin has been very good about, he's been a very outspoken advocate for road safety in general and our Winnipeg roads, and ensuring that this doesn't happen again to another family or prevent as many as possible. 2022 was unfortunately a terrible year for road fatalities in Winnipeg, and we're looking to improve those statistics. So Winnipeg Police are committed in our goals of road safety going forward in 2023. And we want to remind the public that the choices to drive impaired, drive distracted, speeding, they can all have lethal consequences. And those simple choices that you can make can truly be the difference between life and death. With that being said, if anyone has any questions regarding the investigation, I'll do my very best to answer them.
I'm wondering how many hit and runs has Winnipeg been reported this year?
So specific hit and runs, I don't have in front of me. We have total collisions for the year have been, like, we're involving death or serious injury, are 41.
And do you have speculation as to why these might be rising this year?
Unfortunately, we can't piece together a specific trend on them. Like I was saying earlier, and like Kevin mentioned earlier, the thing with road fatalities is that it is non-specific to any one person or any one demographic. We have noticed that there have been a number of them that have been linked to what we'll call dangerous driving behaviors. So whether that be impaired or suspected impaired, speeding, distracted driving, those have all played factors in our collisions. So,
when you have such a high number of serious or fatal collisions in a year, does that do you change your approach, I guess, going forward to try to correct behaviors or prevent people from speeding or driving impaired?
As the traffic division, we're always open to modifying our strategies where we can. If we see room for improvement or room for change, at this point we're following our current goals for road safety in 2023, and those remain targeted enforcement for impaired driving, distracted driving, and speeding.
You may not have the figures in front of you, but do you have any statistics from 2021 or 2020?
Sure. Yep, sorry.
If I can interject for a second, if there's any questions in regarding to specific numbers, we actually have a compilation for the last 5 years. If you want to send us an email through the PIO office, we'll be more than happy to provide those figures for you.
It mentions in the release here all investigative avenues have been exhausted. Maybe can you walk us through sort of what you can, the investigative avenues that have been undertaken in this case?
Sure. Without going into any necessary specifics, as a collision investigator, I can tell you, anytime we deal with a fatal, whether it be a hit and run or a serious injury, it starts at the scene with what we can find there, roadway evidence, anything that might piece us together to link persons or vehicles to a particular offense. In this case, there was unfortunately, to this point, no one who's come forward with any video of the event, and no one who is directly been a witness to the actual event. So our investigators have not been able to follow up on any of those direct ones, and have instead had to rely more on external tips and follow-ups.
In a fatal, or I guess maybe any hit and run, but a serious one, is it, how challenging is it to investigate that? And is it, I don't know if you know, but how frequently is it that a case doesn't have any sort of resolution, that it just remains unsolved?
It's, well, I'll do the two parts here. It's an extremely lengthy process. A lot of times the equipment we use, it can be very time consuming for the service. However, we have I'm very proud to say we have a pretty high solvency rate in our collision investigation section, and it is very rare that a collision like Cody's that goes unsolved, and that's why we are making such a continued ongoing effort and commitment to the family to push forward on this one, as it is one of the very few remaining unsolved collisions we have.
And you sort of touched on it, but what would your message be then to anyone who was in that vehicle that night, or anybody who has information about what happened?
The simple message has to be, even given the time that's gone by, anyone who may have information, you may be the difference for the link to solve this for the family. And at this point, we have enough other evidence surrounding this that we are looking for that person who may just have a close link or nexus that can make this case complete.
You've already spoken to this, but wondering, are there any other factors that are really preventing you from being able to solve this case? Any other difficulties that you're going through?
At this point, there's a lack of information that we had from the get-go, and working through the countless tips and information that did come in. I'm very proud of the work the previous investigators put towards this case. Countless hours of police time has gone into this, and they've exhausted those avenues entirely, unfortunately, to no avail. So yeah, we are at the point where it is simply someone who could perhaps provide a final link for us that we'll need.
Do you know the type of vehicle that was involved in this incident?
The definitive type, no, we don't have the definitive. As on earlier releases we've done before, there was the reports of a dark black pickup truck, but there's been numerous other tips that have come in since then with regards to other possibly involved vehicles, all of which we've had to do extensive follow-ups with MPI and registered owners and leads, and so far none of those have proved fruitful for us in the investigation. Any other questions? No? Thank you very much for your time.